There's a pyramid of power with eyes that can see it all. Cameras to capture your image in City Hall. Realize they listen whenever you make a call. If you want a revolution, I'll really give it to y'all. Ain't this the army that bands against bands of dead presidents, determining life of mankind of cancerous? How we breathe vapors, quick got us bleeding in streets for cheap paper. Assemble the masses, melt the plastic. can see it all. Cameras to capture your image, your city hall. We realize they listen whenever you make a call. If you want a revolution, I'll really give it to y'all. Ain't this the money that bends against hands of dead presidents? The tumbling like some mankind of cancerous out the grid. Papers quick got us living in trust for cheap paper. Assemble the masses, melt the plastic compound, realign when the shit gets drastic. Lift the veil when the system's unmasked. It's just another pyramid scheme, a government racket. Divide with the power of Charles Jurassic. Nation T-Rex with covert tactics. Rise from the ashes, take back the
something. It was in his face. Let me tell you something. He was out of place. Didn't even notice people staring at him. Hello, space boy, where have you been? Hey, Neptune, oh, why do you do the things that you do? Does it work for you? That he's ever been through. Hey, Neptune, how do you plan on getting away? Will you stay? Cause watching carefully said to me, hey, Neptune, why do you do the things that you do? Does it work for you? So far away from the planet I grew on, searched for so long, but the dark spots were an icy blur. What do you have to give? Do you want reality, or to be free from a wave of thoughts that always stir?
Hello and welcome everybody to another great day here at the Overwatch Watchers Brawl. Today for our first match of the evening, we are going to be having a game between GregHeffelyLovers and SK Rakunyans. With your casting today, I am going to be Sir Waltham, and accompanying me we have Aries. Aries?
Hello, it's great to be here. Cannot wait.
Absolutely, I also cannot wait. I'm excited to see these teams get started and get right into it. But before we do, as usual, we have a pre-game interview. We are going to be having the coach of Team Rakunyans here with us. That is going to be Cup of Vice. Cup, say hello.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
Well, I can speak for myself. It is going fantastically. About ready to watch what I'm hoping is going to be some pretty great Overwatch moving forward. Now, you guys, if I'm not mistaken, we have not seen you in this tournament yet. This is our 4th tournament, being that we are in April, unless I completely spaced out on missing a month. How are you guys feeling about entering this tournament this month?
Well, we're a newer roster to this team, so we've just completed our roster about 2 to 3 weeks ago, and we decided to enter in a bunch of tournaments just to kind of get our footing as a team. And so we're actually kind of excited going into this because we already competed in 2 other tournaments. We've competing in OD, and we're starting to find our footing as a team. So morale has been up. We're kind of on the up climb, and we're ready to roll.
I love hearing that. I love hearing when teams have that fire in them. It always makes it feel like the games are just a little bit more edgy, a little bit more competitive. Plus, I like being able to brag that I'm casting for some OD teams. You know, even if it's only kind of technically true for like half the teams, whatever the case may be, I'm enjoying it. I'm hoping that the people at home watching on Twitch are going to be able to enjoy it. Now, you said you guys are really just here kind of trying to get a feel, kind of get the first few tournament kinks out of the way.
Right. I've been coaching for 2 years, and one thing I've noticed with teams is they tend to perform differently from scrims as they do in tournaments due to additional pressure and nerves. And so I find it really beneficial for newer teams to enter in a bunch of tournaments, get those nerves out of the way, understand how your team performs and with that additional pressure, and diagnose problems appropriately. So.
Yeah, it's a very good way to look at it. Now, right before we get started, I have one more question here. Just a little bit of something lighter. Now, your team, this is going to be the first match we're seeing allowing the new hero Baptiste to be in the game. You can answer just as a yes or no, or you can go as in-depth as you want. Your team excited or pretty apathetic to see him come into the tournament right about now?
I believe the players are pretty excited to see some potential changes to a meta, and I think for coaches, maybe just for mostly for me, but to me it's a headache when new things get introduced to a meta because it's just adding so many complexities to the game and having more things as coaches to worry about. So as coaches, I think it's a little tough, but I think for players it's pretty exciting.
Well, absolutely. I hope we can see maybe some of the new gameplay come through. I know that not a lot of teams will have too much practice with him, but we'll just have to see how it goes. But I suppose the only way to do that is to get cracking into the game. So, Cup, thank you for joining us for just a quick few questions before we get started. Is there anything else you want to say before we send you on your way?
No, thank you for having me, and a shout out to our organization, SK Esports, for providing the foundation we need.
Well, there you go. Thank you once again, Cup of Vice. Now, we are going to be heading into Junkertown here, Aries. How do you feel about this map looking forward?
I feel like it can definitely be either a steamroll by a team, or it could be a slobber knocker with high scoring, or it can just be a total defensive shutout, or it can really go either way on Junkertown depending on how teams play it. Different teams play it different ways, and if styles clash uniquely, then it can be an excellent mashup. But if those styles don't really fall into place with each other, then it can be kind of a cluster, and then it can end up going down to a, 3-0 or what have you.
Absolutely, and very curious to see how these teams are going to play. We don't know a whole lot about both of these teams, with the exception that a few members from GregHeffelyLovers, or GHL as I'll probably end up calling it this game, were on a prior team. I believe it was the Morningside Mustangs. So we have a little bit of experience with them, but it looks like it's going to be a little bit of a new roster. So I'm definitely expecting that we're going to see some new synergies, some new comfortabilities come out as well, because I don't expect everybody to just be running goats 100% of the time, as much as the meta might seem like that's the case.
Yeah, considering the new changes, and then of course Baptiste coming in, people are expecting that he may be the GOAT's killer. But we'll definitely see what they are planning in this, because he hasn't been used or been able to be used practice-wise that much so far. Just going to be interesting to see what teams come up with.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as we talk about seeing what the teams come up with, we're going to be seeing the first few hints of the starting compositions here. We are going to be seeing, at least initially, out the attack spawn. Granted, that can change at the blink of an eye, but it's looking like we might see a little bit of a pirate ship double sniper composition, the Orisa Bastion. That could be very reliable on the cart if you're able to get it set up. It can carry you very strongly through at least a good portion of Streets phase if you're allowed to get that momentum in the initial phase.
Oh yeah, and here we go. into this very first round. GHL and SK going at it right now. GH on the defense right now, and that Widow's going to get down very fast, and they're just going to be able to take away this point right now as SK, and that Arista getting damage taken onto him very, very quickly here. And Pulseseeker also getting a lot of damage taken, but that's not really enough to push him off the payload. Nice grapple there. Kills nearly coming in all the way, and there's going to be one that's going to be the first kill, and there's another one on that Widow duel. Loom is able to get 2 on that kill, and that kill feed's lighting up for him right now. And what a great way to start off this match by GHL.
Yeah, and it's really impressive. It was looking like GHL going to be staying on that high ground. However, Lum going to be kind of pressuring every unit that gets kind of outside of that Orisa barrier. It's really the kind of pressure you like seeing applied as a Widowmaker, or from a Widowmaker, to really kind of put the heat on the enemies.
Yeah. They already got the first point. They got 5:30 to get the second one, and it's looking very good for them right now. Even with those picks that came out, they're able to take it away, but, you know, see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And now that we have gotten into the streets phase, it is crucial that the Bastion stay on the cart and stay alive as long as possible. That is basically free ride for the cart if they're able to keep him up, but they might have to keep an eye out for MC Dragonflies' Dragon Strikes coming out from the Hanzo on this high ground. 93%, if we see it come through, it can be a potential kill shot for the Bastion, seeing how the team plays around it, but that's just something to keep forward.
Nice find there by Pulseseeker, able to get that Orisa, and that can be a huge factor in this. GHL getting so low, the damage just not really coming in for them, and SK is just rolling right now. Pulseseeker is just going off on that Bastion.
Yeah, Nate on that D.Va looked a little bit disorganized, dove the Bastion with the D.Va, with the Matrix, but however, there wasn't really the team follow-up that they needed to burst him down. Perhaps a little bit of a misplay, or just a little bit of discoordination that you might like to see tightened up from the defensive team here.
Oh yeah, very. And here comes a Dragon. Kevin is able to find one. Not anything else really out of it except for some damage. And there's going to be 3 picks there, really. Well, the D-Mech basically counting as one, because that just mini D.Va, not really much damage able to be coming from that. But you see Dragon going over to that Genji. See if we can get something going here. Maybe try to go for a deflect.
Yeah, indeed. I think that looking forward, the ult advantage is definitely in favor of the Rakunyans here. They have 4 online, and those snipers are able to build up very quickly as possible if they land their shots. But speaking of landing shots, Dragonfly is going to get caught out by Rakuna.
Oh yeah, and Raccoon is able to get another one, able to get 2 there. And that may be the opening here for this first this first half of the map. And Jack able to get 1 here, and it's just a steamroll right now. And GHL needs to get something. Here's this D.Va bomb. Able to find one. That's Rakunya. And McDragon's able to pull that Pulseseeker out. Able to reflect it. And what's going to die to natural causes. And then Loom's able to... So much weird things is happening right now. It's weird to go through. But Pulseseeker is able to finally bring back some normalcy and take down that Winston. They're just stalling the payload release, GHL, right now.
Yeah, GHL able to get that Bastion dropped in the initial, but however, the Mercy does come through courtesy of Milo, and that will be bringing him back up, allowing for the stabilization of this team. Overall, you like to see that kind of recovery if you're on the attack, really getting that Bastion to continue to push.
Oh yeah. They're really just trying to bleed the clock right now. It's not really going to work for that much longer, and they're going to take that first half of the map with 4 minutes to remain.
Yeah, and I think that if I had to phrase that first round in just 3 words or less, I'd say shock and awe, because once the attacking team Rakunyans got onto the cart and just started rolling with that Bastion, we didn't really see any kills come through until like the back half of the 3rd phase. So really just some perhaps discoordination coming through from GHL, the GregHeffelyLovers. You don't know whether it's necessarily just superior teamwork on the offense, or perhaps not as superior coordination from the defense. But either way, I think that if they tighten up those dives, they may be able to handle that Bastion a little bit more. Aside from that, there's a ton of ways to deal with it. But moving forward, if this goes into multiple rounds, they're going to have to consider how they're going to do it next time.
Yeah, and building on what you were saying, there was a couple of times where that diva should not have dove in, or where they just got caught out because of not having that healing targetization, hard word, but you know,
Absolutely, yeah.
but not having that and then getting caught off guard and then just dying because of it, and then there's that one tank down, and then that diva can be very crucial, especially when fighting a Bastion.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna now see how GH Lovers are going to be playing around with their Bastion offense. It's looking like Dragonfly is going to be hopping onto that Bastion. We'll see if the Rakunyans able to perhaps hold it off at bay a little bit more efficiently, but the action's going to get cracking right about now.
Yeah, it looks like they're going for about the same comp as SK was running before, and there's going to be a little bit of a sniper duel coming in from both teams here, as both teams have a Hanzo and a Widow. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. They're steadily pushing the payload now, and SK's looking to go for a little bit of a fight right here in this chokehold. Not really going to get that much from it, just going to back off. Probably got a little bit too much damage onto themselves and not really feeling comfortable with that. And this Bastion doing some work, and Infernal's getting melted.
Yeah, a lot of damage coming through. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, healers are not loving this right now.
Yeah, and with that, it's looking like the majority of GH Lovers are going to fall, meaning that it will be a reset. Curious if they're going to be staying with Dragonflies on the Bastion. It looks like they will be. It's going to be hard to get them back into position onto that cart, especially now that they're going to have to once again rotate around the Orisa barrier, this time without the Bastion being mobile.
Yeah, and that's going to be the hard part for GHS, or GHL, is getting that Bastion on the point, because it's such an immobile type character, and they're going to go down there. And the kill is just coming in right now for SK, and the damage is being poured on. They're not able to deal with it as GHL.
Yeah, currently they do look to be a little anemic in dealing with this defense. Dragonfly is going to be dropping once again. However, as we look forward, there are going to be 5 ultimates on the line for the defending team. That is quite a lot to work with, even if MC Dragonflies is able to pull off some massive kills with the tank configuration, which it's not even going to be relevant anymore. Switching to the Genji, it's going to be a lot of work to just kind of get to where they need to be in the first place.
No one can hide from my sight.
And we're going to be seeing the Dragons come out here, not really looking like it's going to be finding quite too much. And as I say that, I'm Trash going to be popping the Valkyrie, really trying to get the team pushed here. However, we'll see if they're actually able to capitalize upon this. A lot of ults coming out now. We're going to see how this plays out in quick order. It looks like the kills are going to be going in favor of the Rakunyans once again. Pulseseeker going to be the only one dropping. However, Milo with that res, quick on the spot, making sure it doesn't get punished too hard. You don't want to be seeing that Zenyatta have to take the long walk back. And right now, it is just oppressive, this defense. Snipers really performing their jobs and restricting those sight lines. And these dive tanks don't necessarily look like they know exactly where they want to go. This Diva Bomb coming in, we'll see if it picks anything up. Getting 2 off the back of it, Sneaky Turtle and I'm Trash going to be dropping. You like to see that. Dragonfly's trying to pressure out the sniper, played by Lum. Not quite able to find anything, however, as Nate going to be taking a quick trip off the cliff. We are
30 seconds left of this possibly last fight of the map, and see how GHL responds with this. You think you get at least a point on this map would be really ideal for them. And of course you'd love to send this to overtime, but they're going to try something different here with 10 seconds and an early pick on the McDragon. And here, speaking of a dragon, he's able to pick up 1. Lum's also going to be able to pick up what? That's going to be huge kills, and it looks like this map is over right now. It's just the tanks on the point, and they're getting melted like they have all game so far. Here comes that Diva Bomb. It's not able to get anything. That could be huge right there in itself. And overtime sticking down, that's going to be it for Junkertown. SK taking it first.
Yeah, Rakunyans looking very strong there. In contrast, the GHLovers, again, it's just looking a little bit uncoordinated, but when you're going up against teams that are have this sharp of an edge, you really kind of need to be at your best. Any mistakes really can be capitalized upon in that fashion. It's said often that Overwatch is a game of mistakes, and even if you're just making one or two, if the enemy's able to capitalize upon it, it might lead you to some lost games.
Oh yeah, very much. If a team's able to like you said, able to capitalize on those mistakes, and they're able to build up ult economy, and then that fight win, and then time takes down, it's not good for you. You want to be able to not make those mistakes. Yeah, if you have one or two mistakes, then it's fine, especially if they're minor ones. But you definitely don't want to have those. And they were able to, NSK was just taking advantage after time and time and time again of those mistakes that GHL was just making, and it worked in their favor.
Yeah, we will have to see, of course, if the Rakunyans going to be carrying that momentum moving forward, or if GHL going to be able to regain their footing. However, it seems like we will have the next set of map choices available here as we move forward. Just kind of waiting on those picks to come through. But Aries, was there any particular play that you saw that really just kind of set either the Rakunyans or the GHLovers, if you saw a particularly strong play come through, that kind of stuck out to you?
Not really, in my opinion. I felt like it was just consistency was happening. It wasn't anyone really popping off at any given moment. Yeah, there was like double kills here and there, but everyone really had their moment. Even the healers had some really great heals coming in for SK, and even GHL had some really nice healing and damage coming in. But like at the beginning, GHL had a 3K that they definitely could have taken advantage on, but SK were still able to take the point.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's just a question of how quickly you can like it goes back to the mistakes thing, right? We talk about being 3 down is definitely an opportunity you want to capitalize upon. How quickly can you do it before your opponent's able to recover, or even worse, see some of your mistakes and capitalize on your shortcomings? So in that situation, totally reasonable. It's just one of those things where maybe the reaction times aren't as sharp. Maybe some teams still just trying to, kind of get into the groove. We did mention with Cup of Vice earlier that, tournament nerves can definitely be a thing. Maybe both teams just trying to shake that out for the time being.
And I feel like SK Rakunyans definitely got those nerves out. I feel like that in that first map. But see if they are able to continue to shake those out and are able to get those, and yet again capitalize on those mistakes by GHL.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's pretty much right to the point. However, looking forward, we're kind of in a curious spot because Junkertown is one of the few maps where you can see that kind of one instance comp. So you don't see the pirate ship too much outside of Junkertown, meaning that hero bans moving forward are going to be a little bit tough to read for both of these teams. The Rakunyans and the GHLovers not necessarily going to have a big read on what the other team is proficient at, and therefore you don't necessarily know what would be your best bet to kind of ban or save, to either pick or counter pick your opponent, because that can play a very large part of it. Obviously, hero bans being in for this tournament.
Yeah, and I really like the idea of hero bans and map bans. I feel like it's just a great idea, because then you're able to set the tone. Like some teams, if and this goes down to scouting your teams, like the way these games are recorded and broadcasted, like we're doing right now. Me and Sir Waltham are doing this, and also Refuse. It's very great with broadcasting. But how these are being streamed and stuff. If teams are watching this and then they know a certain player, hey, let's say Sneaky is doing great on like a Winston or something. It's just random. I don't know. The first character came to mind. But say they're doing really, really good on him and carrying or whatever the team. If a team notices this and they're about to face him, they're going to be like, hey, let's ban that Winston. So then they have to go with a different comp, and then they have a better chance of facing them in a better manner. That way they have the advantage in their fights. Yeah,
and I mean, aside from just seeing which character pops off, sometimes certain characters enable certain comps. So a lot of times we'll see some really brutal GOATs comps come through for one team. They'll crush the opposing team, so the opposing team will be like, you know what, we don't want to go up against that. They'll ban Brig, or they'll ban Lucio if given the opportunity, or even something like banning Reinhardt, where you're having to still play up against a GOAT comp, but it might be a variant, it might be something a little bit different. So I think that, you know, there's a lot to consider for these teams, and Junkertown maybe just didn't give the best read. I mean, the teams saw how each other could play on Bastion and Orisa and the dual snipers, but aside from that, there's not a whole lot to work on. However, one thing we do know is that Horizon will not be seen for this set of games, as it was banned on behalf of the Rakunyans. And that being said, it looks like the GregHeffelyLovers going to be picking up Lijiang as our next map to go into. And we talked about a little bit about goats. I think a Mei goat is definitely something that we might see come out, especially on that control center.
Oh yeah, very much. This is a very interesting map, Lijiang Tower, for Mei, because of how much you can do in fights, being able to like section off certain parts. So say a Reinhardt's going in, because typically Reinhardt's going to go in first in the fight with that shield. If they're in the doorway and let's say Mei's able to section them off, that's a free kill on the Ryan. That may just be the fight one. But one thing we did not point out about the ban and picks is when you ban a hero, neither team is able to pick that hero.
Yeah, and that just further adds one level of complexity, because, you know, if again, if their best player is, let's say, their Ana, and your best player is your Ana, then it kind of becomes, do we really want to cut our best player for theirs? Now, if you don't use an Ana, then maybe that's a different consideration you have to take into effect. But at the same time, a lot of what we see is just a lot of very similar mirrored style comps. At least for, you know, when one team goes on attack, you can sometimes expect to see that same composition on attack again. And for King of the Hill maps, maybe not so much on Garden's Lijiang Tower, but for the other two submaps, we kind of see similar comps be run on both sides. But we are about to jump right into it. D.Va going to be the saved hero, and Zarya going to be the hero that's banned in this situation.
That's very interesting ban. I might consider banning. I don't really know, considering I don't know the teams that well. But you never know what teams might ban or might not ban. So I think Zarya may be an interesting pick for that. But we didn't see much Zarya, if anything, on Junkertown.
Yeah, and I mean, when you're playing that pirate ship style, I don't think you'd really expect to. However, one thing I was a little bit surprised by, it looked like the Rakunyans not going to be too intent on saving the Lucio. Maybe they felt that getting rid of Lucio would be a little bit of mutually assured destruction. It's kind of a risky bet if you have to go up without a Lucio on these King of the Hill control point style maps.
Oh yeah, especially if you have a good Lucio that can stay alive and able to keep the team alive as well, and able to make good decisions and boops also. I mean, that's something you might want to save, but if the other team has a better Lucio, it's just to go ahead and ban that Lucio. You don't know. That's the thing, and it looks like GHL is not going to be running. Oh, never mind. There we go. Well,
just a little bit of the debate.
Yeah, just a tad.
But going to be expecting, it's looking a little bit like a change up on the GOATs set up for the side of GHL. Then the McCree substitution for the Zarya on the side of Rakunyans.
That can be a good change in here. Kiddomine is getting a lot of damage going on him, and Lum's able to take him down. He has the final hit onto him. But so much damage again. Dragon's also going to go down, and that could be this fight right now, and it looks like it's going to be all the kills coming in the way of SK.
Yeah, one thing to kind of keep in mind with the comp that we're seeing come out from the GH lovers here is that you have a Winston, you have a Reinhardt. In theory, that's a lot of shielding, but it's hard to kind of get those tanks to coordinate. Winston being much more mobile, likes being kind of up front. However, we are going to be seeing the change up. We're now going to be seeing the McCree come out in kind from GH lovers.
Yeah. It's going to be very interesting. SK is going to have us at 20% by the time GHL is going to get on this point. I'll be possibly at 25. Yeah, most likely. But we're going to go on this top little platform here, see how much damage they can get it in. Here comes that Primal Rage going to come on. So is that Deadeye's able to find one, and the DMAG going to come out onto Knight. And then so is that Rally also going to be popping out. So is my Canadian accent. And then the kill is coming all the way for SK. And the Rakunyans are doing very well right now. They're going to boop this up over to 50%, if not more than that, most likely, because you know what, I can't do math right now. But, you know, here we go.
Yeah, was some math that is rather easy looking forward. We're going to be having almost 3 versus 3 when it comes to ultimates as soon as Dragonfly is able to get that Brig ultimate online. A lot of defensive ults, however, going to be online for the Rakunyans. The Sound Barrier and Transcendence going to really help prevent a lot of damage in these pushes.
But here comes that Sound Barrier that you're talking about. See if they're going to dive in with this. Looks like they are. And Inferno getting taken down there, and here comes that rally for Dragon. Don't know why he really popped that there. He could have just retreated and taken the fight loss, which is what they're doing right now, but instead they wasted a Brig ult. It's very interesting to me.
Yeah, and in a lot of these situations, it's really difficult to see kind of where things are going wrong for GHL. Ooh, fat shatter coming in though.
Oh yeah, and here comes a high noon. Not able to get anything at all. GHL is able to take down that Brigida, and that Zenyatta is 2 supports down. It's going to be very interesting for this fight for Rakunyans. But they're just going to back off this point, save to fight another day. They are at 99%. This is 1 fight away from being a 1-0.
Yeah, and it's going to be pretty much on the wire from here on out for the GH Lovers. Not going to be able to give up the tick even for a moment. If they do, then the point will flip and go in favor of the Rakunyans, which will most likely lead them to a game-winning victory.
Oh yeah. And here comes that Diva Bomb. Oh, double Diva Bomb. Able to get 1, or actually 2, and then the other Diva Bomb's not able to get anything there. Suiko's are we going to come up for SK, and it looks like that may be this map right now. And yeah. Here comes Hammond.
We are looking to see the Hammond come out very last minute. Not going to be quick enough to get back onto point, but still a valiant effort from Dragonflies. Going to be trying to get onto the point. In the end, just not quite shaken out, but we do have at least 1 more round before Lijiang is finished. Not going to be stepping onto Gardens, which would have been my preferred. We're going to be stepping instead into Night Market. And Rakuna going onto the Pharah. I'm looking forward to seeing if we're actually going to be seeing some of this high-flying action here or not. If so, I think definitely going to put the pressure on What with that McCree to really scan the skies and keep them clear.
Oh, yeah. And also that Hammond can be very deadly on that point, because if they're just able to spin around on the point, then Rakuna can just go flying high. And since that Hammond is distracting them, they can just possibly get free damage and kills. You know?
Yeah. Jack going to have to be very careful playing around What, as well as Dragonflies. However, the hack coming through, we're going to see how it shakes out.
Oh, and so much damage. Rakuna already getting huge in this map. There's a double for him, and Milo's just going to top it all off. There's a cherry on the cheesecake. Cheesecake Factory. There we go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And speaking of perfect, that was a very solid take from the Rakunyans here. We're going to see them start ticking up the clock. Not a whole lot of ults built up, but significantly less for the GH Lovers here. They're running pretty much bottom barrel for everybody except Sneaky Turtle, who has about half. That being said, another fight, probably not going to be an ult-based fight, meaning it's going to come down a little bit more to mechanics and fundamentals here. We're going to see how it shakes out as we wait for what I'm assuming is the dive from Nate and Kidman.
Oh, yeah. And it's going to be at about 30% by the time they hit this, maybe, please. But they're going to go ahead and engage on this fight a little bit. There's going to be that high noon. Possibly not going to be able to get much out of it. Yeah, not able to get much out at all. And there's a huge hack. It's able to get all 6. And it's going to work to perfection. Rakuna able to get a double in that one, and then everyone else going to just get singled out. Not a clean sweep, but it definitely works a lot. It's like a baby wipe.
You're not going to be too upset about using those ultimates. If you're the Rakunyans, still not a lot of ult charge coming through for the Lovers here. Once again, Sneaky Turtle going to be the, Sneaky Turtle and Trash going to be the only ones with ults online. However, since they're supposed to be able to provide a little bit more sustain.
And here comes that Sound Barrier, not able to do that much. Jack's able to get a double with his ult. So is Rakuna, and Jack's able to get just totally solo. that Diva, and Rakunyans able to get what? I feel like Rakuna's change over to this Pharah has been very, very good for him.
Yeah, I think that been very organized in working that pharmacy in particular. I don't know necessarily you can give it all to the Pharah. A lot of burst damage coming through, amplified by the fact that a Mercy is tethered to that high flyer.
Yeah. Here we go. 99%. This fight could determine it all right now. Do it ults are going to be used. Here comes that Primal Rage and so as well as that Diva Bomb. And the Sound Barrier as well. Rakunyans able to get a triple. And Jack's also able to find one, and that ult's going to come out. Loam is able to get one as well, and that looks like it's going to be Lijiang Tower right then and there. Game, set, match. Not point.
Pretty close. Pretty close. Rakunyans going to be going up 2 in the map score count, meaning that they win one more, and they've got it for this bracket. And yeah, really, credit where it's due. I think Rakuna really performing very strongly there. The coordination we saw between him and Lum really kind of spoke for itself when they got the 6-man hack and then just the massive rocket barrage damage.
Oh yeah, and I like I said, I feel like it was Rakuna and that Mercy, the pharmacy, going over there, and they were definitely prescribing some great stuff for their team there. See? Yeah.
I see what you did there. I like
yeah.
it. But overall, I'm very pleased with the Rakunyans showing that they're not just competent, with the goats or with the pirate ship, but really kind of a broad spectrum of proficiency with these heroes. Because a lot of times it's so easy to have one team just kind of funnel focus onto that goats comp where it's, oh, I have to work on my Zarya play and nothing but my Zarya play because that's what's most relevant. But also to see those kind of minutia where it's like, oh, well, I'll work on my McCree hit scan, or I'll work on Pharah or Sombra. Whatever the case may be, I think it really kind of shows through that Rakunyans, not just a one-trick pony here, and that could be extremely viable.
Very, and it's the flexibility of the team, like you said, not only having to focus on, let's say, Zarya, but you're able to focus on a lot of different heroes, maybe heroes that you like a lot more. That's just going to be good because you're going to enjoy practicing with those heroes. It's going to be great. Instead of just having to focus practice.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it adds a little bit of depth, which is the very nice way of kind of having to forego just the hard grind of one comp, as we were mentioning. I'm just getting the news that we broke 500 followers on Twitch, so that is very exciting. Me and Aries glad to be able to announce that.
Oh yes, sir, we are. I wish I had a popper thing that you throw on the ground from my desk and you could hear it go off. But yeah, that's very exciting to hear at the Watchers, and we're so happy to be able to announce that. 500 followers, that's a lot.
Yeah, that is a very good amount. But when you have everybody coming out to try and support these teams, not necessarily surprising. These teams get a lot of love from Twitch chat, so make sure you're showing them your love in the Twitch chat. Make sure you're voting on who you guys think are the MVPs for this match. We love seeing it. Every time I like getting told how much my viewpoint is off, because it almost seems like it's never in line with what Twitch thinks.
And I'm glad you remembered to say something about the MVP. I totally forgot about it. But,
yeah, I've definitely been through the motions here. I have forgotten my fair share of time, so it is no worries on that. Another thing not to worry about, we do know what maps are coming up. We know that Eichenwald will be out for the rest of this bracket, or for the set of maps. But instead we will be seeing its other hybrid map cousin. We're going to be seeing Hollywood come through here.
Oh yeah, and going from over in China and Lijiang to now in Hollywood. See how this shapes out. But SK is up 2-0 in maps right now. If they win this one, then they win the series and move on. And GHL will go down to the losers bracket, which is a very much harder place to get out of. And then you got to play what, two more games to get into the finals?
It's I think it's all dependent on kind of how and when you drop as well. Sometimes teams don't necessarily stick it all the way through the losers bracket, so it's a little bit varied. But GHL definitely going to be having a road to climb if they do end up losing this or any other map in this match. I'm going to be seeing how it goes, but they may be they may have a little bit of a leg up, as we're not going to be seeing the Widow come through here. Saw the Widow be very effective on Junkertown.
Oh yeah, very. And the duels were coming out, and then there was that one point where it was a Hanzo and a Widow on both teams, and SK just decided to go off with it and got so many doubles with that Widow. It was insane. And also Rakuna on that Hanzo were able to do a lot of damage as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Curious how they'll be playing Streets phase, because I anticipate that's where we will see the Widow band come through most impactfully. But for those of you at home, we're going to be seeing a little bit of a UI shift. It's going to now be the Rakunyans on the blue side. On the left, GHL going to be the first on the attack in red. Just a little bit of a change up. Don't want anybody getting caught off guard, and I certainly don't want myself to be making the wrong calls. I've put in my time to know that those mistakes are preventable.
Oh yeah, I bet you I'm just gonna gonna mess it up. Gonna happen.
Well, there's only one way to find out, and that is for this game to get popping on along. And as I say that, you're going to see the hero choices start to come through for the teams. And I'm hoping that...
Baptiste.
Yeah, I'm hoping I'm not getting tricked by GHL. I'd love to see Baptiste come through. Sneaky Turtle is, if I'm not mistaken, one of the support players for GHeffelyLovers. Really excited to see how this Baptiste is going to play in this composition, assuming we see him carry through into the actual attack phase.
Please don't meme us. Please. Please, for the love of Jeff, please do not meme us.
You're not just memeing us at this point, you're memeing our hearts with that Baptiste pick, but it does look like it will just be a meme, and that makes me cry just a little bit.
A tear sheds down my cheek. Anyways, enough with that. Here we go. He's going to switch over to that Lucio, and GHL is going to be on the attack first. See if they can get this pressure going onto this first point. There looks like they're going to try to go into that side room. Nope, psych. Of course I had to say something. Here, they're just going to make a little bit of a battle here, and they're just going to be backed up by the damage coming in. There's also going to be a res on the Kiddo at that point, but Infernal is just going to be able to get multitude of ills, and it's just coming all in the way of SK right now. And it's not looking good right now for GHL, as there's just going to be a stagger and, yep, and a dagger. But
yeah, the stagger and the dagger, the final kill when you're running back to spawn. I like it, but I think that the coordination really came through between Lum, Jack, and Rakuna. We saw the hack come through onto Kid Omen, excuse me, and that enabled the Doomfist as well as the Winston to really punish that out of position offensive Winston. I really like the way that was played.
oh yeah. Now let's see how it's played here. Milo's just gonna get tortured there a little bit, but Raccoon is able to get an early pick on the Kiddo. That can be a huge kill in this fight, and Bob's gonna be popped, and Bob pop gonna hit Rob, and they're gonna back off. This is why I'm not a rapper. Anyways,
just a little bit of the Twitch rapping, just a little bit. You like it. You like to see it.
Yeah. Anyways, a little bit of a nay coming in. What's able to find a really nice shot there on the Milo. I can open this up very, very much. It looks like they're just gonna back up into this point. A huge hack gonna come in, and so is that dude. But I'm just not able to find anything. What's also gonna be able to get another kill, but Rakunyans and Jack able to get kills of their own, and SK able to survive. The Rakunyans able to get a triple there basically, and Jack is just torturing them.
Yeah, a little bit of a brutal fight there. What actually getting the first kill, you think it might go their way as they lose the Lucio, but the force just really didn't go in full effect. And then once the EMP came out, saw the Diva Bomb combo kind of split the team, which is never a situation you want to be in if you can prevent it. And from there, the entirety of the attacking team just kind of collapsed and crumbled under the weight of, you know, the force put forth by the Rakunyans.
Oh, and see if the Primal Rage comes out with the Nano, and here comes that sound barrier, and it's just going to be Nano for practically no reason at this point. And what is going to get targeted so hard right now, but Raccoon is able to get a double Jack's able to finally focus down onto that Ash, and Kiddo's going to go down, and that's going to be this fight 1 right now for SK, and they are just steamrolling right now.
Yeah, I definitely like that. As the team starts moving forward, Jack catches what a little bit behind the team jumps him and really just puts the screws to him and really puts the hurt on, punishing that Ashe, even though the fight was already, I believe, up 2 or 3 members at that point. It's those small minutiae that can really help you solidify these team fights.
Oh yeah, very much. And that Diva Bomb too can get here. It's not able to get anything. What's able to get another kill in the opening part of this with 45 seconds left, and just kills able to come so fast and so furious for SK. And here comes the stall and torture and death.
Yeah, Nate not going to be too happy about that, but we're going to see if he is going to be able to strike back with a vengeance. 30 seconds left onto the clock. Then it's really on. Back. Yeah, it's definitely on GHLovers to really get some progress here. Otherwise, it's going to be very easy for the Rakunyans.
Oh yeah, and let's see what happens here. Kiddo's getting very low when he gets hacked there, and Inferno also, but he's gonna get Kiddo, and then there's just gonna be a multitude of kills coming out, and nothing really happening for GHL. They've been just dominated this entire half, and that's gonna be it. They're not even able to get a tick.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal. I think that we are going back to the old, I say the old school days, but it was really about 2 or 3 metas ago, if I had to make a guess, where we saw Sombra and Doomfist be really dominant. And I think Rakunyans kind of just throwing a little bit of a kickback to those good old days where it wasn't just all tanks. We could see variations of dive suddenly being run. And that was kind of a nice refreshment, especially when we see the Diva bomb EMP combos try to come out. It didn't necessarily connect with a whole lot of kills, but again, the zoning on those ults can be so powerful that if you're separated just 3 and 3, especially without your abilities, one of those 3s is going to get picked off very easily.
Oh yeah, very much. The ability tracking and ult tracking is a huge part of Overwatch, especially in this competitive scene, because if you're not able to track those abilities and those ultimates, then you're screwed, because you're not able to see, hey, they don't have res, or hey, they do have res, but we don't know it. Then maybe you focus a target that maybe you wouldn't have if you knew they had res or not. It can be a huge part.
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, might be getting memes again, but Lum going to be on that Baptiste, hoping we're going to see it come out, but I'm not holding my breath too much. What we will be seeing is the Orisa coming out for the defensive side. I'm assuming that what on the Ashe going to be playing in the line with Kid Omen.
Anytime there's a Baptiste, we should just not say anything, just in case. I'm just saying, cross your fingers and pray at this point. Anyways, here we go. They're going to be able to set up on the top of that cafe as GHL. Remember, SK only needs 1 tick to win this game. One tick.
And that means that they could definitely start to put the pressure onto the point more so than onto the players here. And they're already halfway. Are they even going to be able to get contested?
Nice sleep dart there, and night, sweet Prince of Bel-Air, and wow, SK 3 O's, and then that was just that was a mauling.
Yeah, that was really strong coming through from the Rakunyans here, and I think that definitely going to be having to keep an eye out for this team and see how far they can make it along this roster. They're not looking to be in the worst of spots, at least based on this first performance. I mean, it was kind of just a a sweep as far as, you know, scoreboards go. There wasn't a whole lot of possession coming through from GHLovers, and it's kind of a shame, but it does give us an opportunity to see if they do continue to grow and progress as this tournament goes along.
By the way, I don't think we mentioned this at all during this, but it's the GregHeffelyLovers. We always presume it. Not good half lovers. GregHeffely. If you don't know who that is, yeah, you didn't live in the 2000s. Anyways.
Yeah, it is going to be the GHLovers, GHL, GregHeffelyLovers. There's a lot of different ways we can pronounce it. I think we're still trying to get the feel for how that kind of fits in the mouth. But for the time being, we're going to do our best to get that figured out. Moving forward, that being said, it looks like we're going to be having somebody on board from the Rakunyans to do a little bit of a post interview brought to you by the one and only Aries. Aries, are you excited to talk to the players?
Oh yeah, should be fun. First one ever. This is gonna be great.
Absolutely, and it looks like it will be Jack coming through, ready to see kind of how the ground level viewpoints were. I mean, I don't know how much they'll be able to tell us given the performances coming out of those teams, but certainly excited to hear from them.
Oh yeah, very much. Let's see what happens in their mindsets, or what was in their mindset at that point. What was going on? Do you know who we're gonna have in?
Yeah, it's going to be Jack for the Rakunyans. They will be dropping in shortly. I'm sure we will be getting the go-ahead from our producer as soon as they are ready and in the chat. But in the meantime, don't forget, keep voting on those Twitch MVPs so we can definitely hear you guys' voice and know who to give that shiny, non-existent trophy to. Everybody likes being medaled, so let's see who you guys think is. Yeah, absolutely. It definitely is. And trust me, if these teams are able to carry into the finals, and once you get MVP for finals, man, I've heard from some players that it's just like the most adrenaline rushed based feeling in the world.
You're on top of the world.
Absolutely. But for the time being, we're going to be having Jack hop into chat with us. Jack, how's it going?
Going pretty good. How about you guys?
Oh, it's going great. Speaking of being on top of the world, how do you feel right now after that?
I feel pretty good. It felt like it was a pretty like standard. We ran our comps we normally run. You know what I mean? We just follow our standard dives, our preset comps, etc. It felt pretty like, I don't know, like practice, you know?
Yeah,
do what we
just
normally
like a
do.
Scrimmage.
Yeah. We felt pretty comfortable. We were just doing what we normally do. And yeah.
That sounds good. So what was your guys' mindset coming into the game?
Well, interesting because we're actually, this is our first day. We're practicing a new comm style. We used to play we had a different comm style. Today we came in with a different comm structure, so we were just trying to run that out a bit, you know what I mean? Try and see how that worked out for us, and it was working fairly well. So it was kind of, we were treating this almost a bit more as a scrim in that sense, right? Practicing something new.
Yeah, and in these earlier rounds you can get away with doing that, but
obviously later on we're gonna have harder matches and we can't, right? So
yeah,
you know.
But was there any, like, what do you think was a standout play or map that you guys had that really set the tone and what you guys really were able to do well?
Lijiang, by far Lijiang. That is our best map, hands down altogether. We have some really good preset comps, and our ultimate usage and combos are really well. Like when Rakuna's play of the game, right? We did a power driver knockup, we did EMP and barrage combo. It was perfect, right? It was a clean team wipe. It's something we practice all the time. And also with the same comp on Control Center, we swapped. Well, seeing as we couldn't run the Zarya obviously in the GOAT, so we ran the McCree comp. The dive tanks, triple off support McCree. It's another comp we practice fairly often. It's not one you see often on Control Center, right? It's a GOATs comp, but it's comp we practice a lot. Focus on the tanks. It's fairly simple, straightforward comp, but I feel like we played it really well. It's one of our most comfortable maps for sure.
Yeah. So on Hollywood, when JHL banned that Widow, did that change your comp at all during that last map?
No, actually. Since if we got out to the streets phase, and yes, it would have. We run Widow a lot on the streets phase of the map. But that first point, we very traditionally run that very hard dive, right? We ran the Doomfist Sombron defense, and then we run the Genji Sombron attack. So it didn't affect our team comps for the portion of the maps we ended up playing. Like I said, if we went to street phase, it definitely would have affected our comp. We probably would have just stuck with the Genji Sombra, but seeing as we didn't get there, it didn't matter.
Well, great showing from you guys there. Moving on to the second round, pretty well there, going 3-0, and of course doing very well on all maps. But great showing from you guys.
Yeah, it was a good game. Looking forward to the next one.
Absolutely. And with that, it feels like we're about to wrap up our post-game interview. But before we do head out, we are going to be announcing the MVP for the night. Are you ready, Aries?
Oh yeah. Do you want me to do a drum roll?
That'd be perfect. You read my mind.
All right, here.
Drum roll, please.
Perfect. And it looks like our MVP for the night, or for this game rather, is going to be Nate from, I believe that was GHL. So congratulations, Nate. We look forward to seeing you and your team moving forward. As well, congratulations to the Rakunyans for everybody, or for the games they gave us and for the wins that they received. So we hope to be catching you guys once again. We'll be going on another cast in about an hour, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, if my time zone conversions are up to scratch. That being said, I've been your caster, Sir Waltham, and with me, Aries.
Yep, I am Aries, and yes, your timetable is correct. It is 9 Eastern Standard Time, PM of course, which it will be happening, which would be 8 Central Standard Time and 7 Pacific Standard Time?
It'd be 6 Pacific Standard Time.
6? Okay, that's great.
Oh, wait, no, I'm
Anyway.
sorry.
Wait.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Which one's the yes?
The 6 Pacific Standard Time.
Oh, okay. Alright. But yep, so we will be back then in approximately 1 hour and 9 minutes. Of course it changes to 8 now, but you know. we will see you guys there practically on the dot, and with us here producing is lovely Refused. He did not refuse to do this. Yeah.
It's probably a little bit busy with the camera work, getting the images and graphics all set up, but I'm sure he would be happy to say hello, or he'd be wanting us to say hello for him. But on behalf of all of us here, we want to wish you a good evening. We hope to see you again, and stay safe out there.
Oh yeah.